Now, all right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga in the month of February. Today's Groundhog Day, February 1st. So we have a Yin and Yang practice, those two sides of yoga, the heating side and the cooling side. And for the heating side, we are going to be focusing on those poses that are derived from a strong foundation in our lower body, in our legs. So we'll be doing a lot of standing work and really exploring some different areas of our body that we're focusing on in our standing poses. And then toward the end of class, we'll focus strongly on an area for deep flexibility to work that yang or cooling side of our practice. And we can't really do a lot of a successful lower body work unless we've warmed up that area and also done some gentle stretching. So I have a chair at the ready, a couple of blocks, my strap if needed, but we are going to start standing. And a lot of this first part of our practice warming up will be including balance. So if you need to have your chair close by to touch or a wall, I want to be sure that you don't feel like you're super tippy through this sequence, that you can actually perform the work. So let's come to mountain pose. Nice and strong and tall through the spine. Draw those shoulders back, always focusing on really great posture in our yoga practice. And then pick up your toes and try to spread them out with the strength of your feet. Now, maybe not too vigorously because sometimes our toes can start to cramp. So if we really work those muscles hard, they might try to fight against us. So just spread those toes out and then set them back down on the ground and lift them up, spread them out, and set them back down on the ground. So you might have noticed over the years that a couple of things have happened to your feet. You might have lost some flexibility in your feet and also some strength in your feet. So you might be finding this really difficult to even get your toes to come off the mat. But do your best, doesn't have to be a big range of motion. Now, next time you lift them up and spread them out, I want you to try to set from the outside of your foot your baby toes down, and then the next toe. You might even look to see if they're doing what you think they're doing. The third toe, the fourth toe. Are you able to keep your big toes up with the rest of your toes down? And then set your big toe down. Now try to imagine you're gripping your yoga mat with your toes. You're doing a little bit of a curling action, and do that about 6 or 7, 8 times. Just pull and pull, and try to keep your arch up off the floor. So you're just feeling the ball of the foot connecting the mat, your toes are curling, and the center of your heel is connecting. Now lift those toes up one more time, open them, and try to set them down. Baby toe, next toe, third toe. Oh, this is so hard. Fourth toe, and then the last time, the big toe, and then grip your mat 5 more times. So pull it in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now just kind of relax your feet, a little bit of space between each toe. Shift your body weight over into your right leg, pick up your left knee. And whatever you want to do with your arms here, because we're going to be balancing. Maybe they're at heart center, maybe they'll be out as you're working on balance. And we'll just extend this left leg straight, point and flex your ankle, and then bend your knee back in. Now, if you need to touch the mat in between, you can, but we're going straight, point, flex, and bend. So your standing leg, the right leg, is getting some nice work in those muscles that are helping you stabilize. On the left leg, we're working on warming up the knee joint as we straighten and bend the knee, and warming up the ankle joint as we point and flex. Let's do that one more time. Straighten, point and flex, and bend. Good. Shift over to the other side. If we do too much standing on one leg, that standing supporting leg really can get fatigued. So the knee is up about 90 degrees. We straighten, point flex, and bend. Option to set your foot down in between. And I want you to really get a good range of motion in the ankle. So pointing is called plantar flexion. And then as we flex our toes back towards us, that's called dorsiflexion, like the dorsal fin of a shark that's pointing up. Let's do 2 more on this side. Still checking in on your good posture. Whoop, lost my balance on that one. Point flex and switch. Okay, now some rotation through your hips. So standing on your right foot again, we'll lift this left knee up slightly, crossing the midline, and come around. Across and around. A couple weeks ago, we did some of this action in our Mind Body Blend class, and it's called circumduction. So we're circling through that femur in the acetabulum of the hip socket with a really good range of motion. Now let's go the other direction. So we'll open it out, try to come slightly across and down. I might need my chair for this one to help balance. So we're warming up those deep external rotators of the hip, which includes the piriformis. And that piriformis can sometimes, if it's too tight, it can lead to some sciatic nerve issues. All right, my body's saying time to switch, both in balance and I'm feeling that right shin really working. Okay, let's stabilize on the left leg. This leg goes across slightly and around. Cross and around. Now, as we're doing this work, I want you to really feel your core tightening and bracing. That's going to help you with balance and stability as well. And it's always a bonus when we get some core work. All right, if you're ready to reverse, we're doing about 5 or so each direction. Why is this direction harder to balance? I'm wondering if you're all experiencing that too, going the other direction. Let's try to get 2 more this way. And 1. And switch. Now this left leg will come out and across, bend your knee and place it on top of your thigh and do a baby down and up by bending your standing leg. We'll go out, come across. This knee is open like a figure 4 and a small knee bend. Open, cross, we're rotating the hip and down. Now, if the knee bends too much, just do the rotation and stay here. And let's do 3 more. We're also pulling in some of those exercises from our New York Times longevity article, this lateral leg raise and the single leg stance. Last one on this side. And come back to mountain switching. Wow, where I really feel it is outside of this right shin on that standing leg. That's getting a lot of work. Okay, let's stabilize. Take the leg out, across, rotate, and a tiny knee bend. Oh, I can tell on this leg my arthritis isn't as bad on my standing leg, so that knee bend is a lot more comfortable. And those, we just have to know those things about our body, not being judgmental at all of ourselves, but knowing those things so that we can accommodate. And I know that this is my harder side to balance. Let's get 2 more. Hip abduction, rotation, and a knee bend. Last one. Whoop. And come back to mountain pose. Okay, I just want you to prance your feet. So it's like you're running on the floor without lifting the ball of your foot off the mat. So you're just gonna lift your heel, lift your heel. It's a little bit of a running action with your arms as we warm up those shoulders a little bit. Shifting the body weight from the right foot to the left foot. And depending on how flexible your feet are, you might feel like this is a stretch for your toes a little bit. Let's do 4 more and switch, 3 and switch, 2, switch, 1 and switch, come center. One more balanced pose, standing on your right foot. Pick up your left and turn the top of your foot to the mat and push down gently. So I'm stretching the top of my arch, the top of my toes a little bit, and I do feel that stretch up into my ankle. If you feel comfortable holding this, we'll take 3 breaths, sweeping the arms out and up, and exhaling down. 2 more, inhale. Such a nice stretch for the top of the foot. This will help you with plantar flexion and that ankle mobility. Nice. Okay, let's switch feet. Lifting up the right foot, turn the top of your foot where your shoelaces would be to the mat, and you're gently pressing down. So you can decide how hard you want to push. You can make it really gentle, don't make it painful. And let's sweep up, inhale, and exhale. I feel my standing leg, that left leg really shifting a little bit side to side, using my toes to help me balance. And then come back to standing on both feet. Just for a moment, check in, and you can close your eyes if you'd like, and just notice, what are you feeling as compared to the start of class in your feet, in your ankles, in your hips, in your shoulders, everything feeling like it's getting nice and warm and pliable. Now decide which edge of your mat you would like to be the top of your mat, and let's move there. And you might need to have your chair fairly close by in front of you, as we're going to be using it as an option to touch, or a block or two. We'll take a nice inhale, just sweeping the arms forward and up, maybe a tiny back bend. And exhale and fold forward any amount. Now this first time you go down, be gentle, bend your knees as much as you need to. Use your props to place your hands on. And then we'll go with the breath. Inhale, sweep up, spinal extension. Exhale, lower down, spinal flexion. 2 more. And you're using this just to diagnose, how are you feeling today in your hamstrings, your lower back, your hips? Where do you want to take your forward fold today? Now we'll inhale to come back up. Bring your palms to your heart and take your right foot and just step it slightly forward, so you have a little bit of a split stance or almost a tandem stance. And I don't have a big distance between my feet. They're both pointing straight ahead. And let's take a breath. Inhale, maybe a baby back bend. Exhale, come down into your staggered forward fold. 2 more on this side. So essentially, this is a pyramid pose. And our front leg is experiencing a little bit more stretch through the hamstring. Our back leg more stretch through the calf. Now we'll come up one more time. Come down where we want to be here. And our left hand stays where it is, and we're just going to start to twist our body open to the right and then back down. And twist it open to the right and back down. So here's my little example with the chair. If you're using your block, it might look a little bit more like this. Or you might be flexible enough to have your hand down on the ground. That's really challenging. Or if you don't have any props at all, you can just use your core and be floating here, as long as you're really nice and lengthened through your spine in a good neutral position. Let's do one more, strengthening that core and feeling a little stretch through the outer portion of this right hip. Then come back to your pyramid and we'll hold just a couple of breaths, taking it as low as you feel comfortable. One more breath. And now we'll balance on our front leg. So as you come up, shift your body weight into that front foot, your right foot. Lift your back leg up off the floor. And your props are here if you need them, or in Warrior 3. We've got a lot of work through this standing hip, keeping our pelvis nice and level. Now, if you just want to stay in Warrior 3, this is good. You can always put your foot back down to the floor, or your final option will be to add a slow twist back to the right side and hold it. So this is your revolved half moon. A lot of options, so take the one that works best for you. In this revolved half moon, the piriformis, the IT band are really stretching here. So if that's your goal today, give that pose a try. Use your chair for stability. One more breath. And then we'll lower that hand back down. And the left foot comes right down to the floor. And bring yourself up to stand. So we'll take 3 dynamic forward folds again with both feet even. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. And what I want you to be noticing is, how does the right side feel as compared to the left? For me, it definitely feels like I've worked it harder, like I've stretched, feels a little warmer. My range of motion feels better. And then it's come up to hold. And the palms can come to your heart, and then we'll stagger the feet now with the left foot in front. So this requires a little bit of balance here. It's similar to that tandem stance. So if you need some more support, widen the distance between your feet a little bit so you are not quite as tippy. If you want to challenge it more, you can bring your feet closer together. And then let's reach up. Inhale. Exhale. And fold down. Now, since this is a different side, you might have less range of motion here, maybe more. So just go slow so that you can diagnose how that left hamstring is feeling for this sequence. And since we're moving through this, we're strengthening those muscles as well as lengthening. All right, let's take it down. As we hold here, we'll be adding a little twist, and it's to your left. So your right hand can stay on your chair. You can bring it to a block. You can hover it above the floor, or you can reach the mat. And we'll turn open to the left and lower back down. Now, if you're saying, I can't really do this because it hurts my shoulder to lift my arm up, then what you can do is just put your left hand on your hip. You don't have to lift your arm, just turn your body, because that's 90% of what we're doing anyway, is the spinal rotation. The arm floating up is just a little bit of extra. It's a nice stretch for that shoulder. But if you feel pain, not necessary to do that. Let's do one more. Breathe it up. And come down. Now we get to balance on this front foot. So I'm going to bring both my hands to the chair, pick up off the back foot, lift it up. This is your warrior three. So if you want to be here today, that's great. Or we can twist open to the left and hold. And this is our revolved half moon. So our standing leg, softness in the knee, not a lockout. And you're feeling the outside of your left hip really stretching and releasing in that IT band. Let's take a couple more breaths here. You can be back down in pyramid as well. And then lower that left arm. The back foot lowers down to the floor. We stand up, and we'll finish with 3 more dynamic forward folds. Inhale, arms up, stretch. Exhale and fold down, softening your knees as much as you need to. Wow, this is a big difference from the first one that I did this morning. And I'm trusting it is for you as well. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. Hold your forward fold. Grab your elbows, hang in ragdoll pose. Just move a little bit from side to side. Release any tension in your lower back. One more breath. And let those arms go. Soften your knees. Rise all the way back up. Inhale. And then press the palms at the heart. Exhale. Let's bend your knees and sit into chair. And this doesn't have to be a really deep chair pose, although if you want to go down a little lower, great. And arms can be wherever you'd like here with this chair pose. Then we'll take our right foot, lift it up off the mat, step it behind, push your heel down to the floor and stand straight up. Now your back toe can be turned out a little bit, but not a lot. I want you to feel a stretch in your calf. And then step back into chair pose with both knees bent. Then your left foot steps directly back any amount. Push your heel down to the mat and lift your chest. And step back into chair. I want you to go at any pace that you want to alternate sides and add anything else with your arms. So as you step back to your right, you might open your arms into goalpost arms, or they can be straight up or down in front, and then step back in and switch. So we're going to be here alternating sides for about 60 seconds. And try to pick something a little different with your arms each time so that you experience a different stretch, a little different work. And try to pick something that accentuates good posture. So usually that's something where the shoulder blades are drawn back and connected, and the abdominals are really braced. And let's get 2 more of these on each side. You can experiment with a bigger step back if you'd like, Or it's okay to just make this small, just a small little step. One more each side. And come back to chair, just one breath as we all gather back together. And rise up to mountain. So I'm going to take this up a notch, but what we just did is there for you to continue with. So now our option is going to be bringing the hands down to the floor each time before we step back. So our option is to lift the arms, come into your forward fold, put your hands on the floor, your fingertips, step your right foot back, drop your heel down, and stand up and take anything you'd like to with your arms. Then when you switch, you put your hands back down to the floor, step your back foot in, and stand all the way up. Stretch. Hands down. Left foot steps back. Drop your heel to the mat. So this is warrior one of our strong warrior poses. And this is the focus of our practice this month in February, is foundational standing poses that are derived from our Virabhadrasana or warrior poses. And we'll keep moving, alternating sides, maybe picking something different with your arms each time. And this is our Yang practice, so it's on the heating side. We're picking up our heart rate, our respiratory rate, picking up our metabolic rate, a little bit of extra calorie burn while we're moving here, activating a lot of strong muscles. So let's get 2 more on the right and 2 more on the left for 4 more warriors. And again, if reaching down to the floor isn't working for you, do the first version we did, or you can reach to your chair and step back. One more each side. Think about what we call the Pada Bandha. That's the foot lock, the connection of your feet into your mat. Nice and strong and stable. We're finishing out together. Once you finish your last one on your left side, we'll meet one another in a chair pose or a mountain pose, depending on where you want to be. Just to hold steady for a couple of breaths. If you're in chair, come to mountain. So now we'll combine the twist that we did previously. So we'll inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, hands either to your chair or your floor. Step your right foot back, but this time instead of standing up to warrior one, we'll do a twist to the left. So you can use your block on the floor, open into your twist, lower down. Then we step the back foot in and we stand up. Hands either to your chair, block, or the floor. Step your left foot back. Twist open to your right side. Lower down. And step in and stand up. So I'm going to use my chair on this round. Coming down. Right foot stepping back, twisting open to the left with or without the arm reaching up. Stepping in, rising up. And you have the option each time to use a back bend at the top, but you don't have to. You can just come straight up into Urdhva Hastasana, our upward salute. Let's do one more on each side. Stepping back with the right, twisting open to the left. And stepping back with the left, twisting open to the right. And coming up, either mountain or chair pose. So to reach this IT band, when we twist, we'll get deeper into that stretch the more we straighten our leg. So we're going to go through this 3 more times on each side, and your option will be to straighten the front leg. So we'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down, either to your chair, a block, or to the floor. Step your right foot back. Sorry, that was my left. As we twist open to the left side, our option will be to straighten this left leg. That really gets that IT band. Then we come out of the twist, step the back foot forward, and stand up. This time our left foot steps back. We keep our left hand on the chair or block or floor as we twist open to the right. Then the option is to straighten the right leg. Stepping in, twice more on each side. So I've developed this from a nice flow of a sequence. So if we're getting to the point where this is not doable for you, just go back to doing the first one we did, just standing, stepping back to warrior one, and stepping into chair pose. What is this pose? It's revolved triangle if you're straightening your leg. So by my count, we have 1 more on each side. And it's becoming a lot easier for me to get this twist in. It's amazing how my flexibility is really improving here on the rotation. If you're about where I'm at, last time stepping the left foot back. And then coming back to mountain or chair as we all gather back together. And then rising back to our mountain pose. We're really going to move into the piriformis now through a balance sequence standing up. You might need to have your chair right in front of you or standing close to your wall. And that's going to be something you can put your hands on when we're doing our standing pigeon. So as we stand on our left foot, pick up your right knee, rotate the knee out, step back into warrior one. Then as you stand back forward, rotate your knee out, cross your right ankle over your left knee, do that little baby knee bend, and bring your chest and your body forward, supporting yourself optionally on your chair or your block. So this is standing pigeon, and you should really feel this in your hip. And then we'll come up again. Use your chair for support if you need to. Circle your knee out around, step back, come into warrior one. Anything you want to do with your arms. Then as you step forward, circle your knee out to the side, cross your ankle over your left thigh, bend your standing knee and come down and stretch. That's our second of 5 repetitions. Now, if you want to take the repetitions out and just hold the stretch, you can. But our Yang practice tells us we need to keep moving and keep flowing if possible. If you want to make it a Yin, then just stay in your pigeon and stretch. This is number 4, I believe, for me. So let's get one more, circling the knee around, stepping back into warrior 1. Stepping forward, circling the knee, sitting into standing pigeon. And then coming back to either chair or mountain pose. And my thighs say chair doesn't sound really good to me right now. Ooh, that was a lot of work in the legs, in the lower body. All right, so we have 5 reps on the other side. So we are going to stand on the right foot, lift up the left knee, circle it around, step back into warrior 1. Anything with your arms, goalpost, airplane. And then as you step forward, circle that knee back around, flex your left ankle, place it across your right thigh, bend your standing knee a little bit, support as you come forward into standing pigeon. And 4 more repetitions. A lot of great control here, really good balance work with our strong Yang warrior practice. You can also just turn around, have a seat in your chair, and do a seated pigeon here and enjoy that stretch. Really listening to what your body needs today. Here's repetition number 3 for me. Two more. Maybe you don't use your chair this time for balance. And then last one. Stretching that piriformis. And then coming either to chair pose or mountain. Good posture. Notice what you're feeling. So we are always listening, looking, and feeling as to what's going on in our body. It gives us that good indication of where we've been and how we can proceed. So let's take 3 dynamic forward folds again as we've been able to stretch out the hips and the IT bands with these poses. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Knees can bend any amount. Hands can come to chair, block, or floor. 2 more. Optional baby back bend here. Gentle spinal extension using your core muscles. 1 more time. Hold your forward fold 3 breaths. Option to place hands here in ragdoll pose. Let everything stretch and go. Slow sinking breaths, nice long exhalations. And then release the arms, soften your knees, rise back up, inhale, and exhale. So we'll start to transition now from the heating side of our practice to the cooling side, from the yang side to the yin. You'll need to have your yoga strap. That's really going to assist you with the deep IT band stretching. And we'll come onto our backs. So get yourself nice and comfortable as you come down. If you need a little pillow for the back of your head, have that. And your hamstrings should feel pretty open by now, but I want to stretch those one more time here in this reclined position. So we'll take the ball of the right foot up into your yoga strap. This helps you to be able to flex your ankle into dorsiflexion. If your hamstrings are really tight, go ahead and keep your bottom leg bent, your left knee bent. And this helps to rock your pelvis into more of a posterior tilt. If you feel pretty flexible, this bottom leg can extend out. That will release your hip flexor, but you'll also notice that it starts to rock your pelvis into an anterior tilt. So just notice if this is okay for you. And then just using your right hand to hold the strap, we're very gently going to slightly open our leg out to the right side and then across to the left. So I'm not going for maximum range of motion right now. I'm just doing a prep. So your hips are not moving, you're not twisting, you're just moving the leg only to the outside and across. And then I want you to think about, even though we're using our strap to help us, I want you to use the muscle of your right inner thigh to pull this leg across. So if you activate the adductor muscle, which brings the leg in, it'll help you to relax the abductor, that outer thigh area where we're stretching the IT band. So let's do one more. And then a stretch to the outside. So you're going to go as far as you can, again without twisting. You might need to open your left arm out to the side to help counterbalance your body. And we'll take a nice inner thigh stretch here. This one won't be as long because our focus today is on the opposing muscle group. So let's just take one more breath. And then use that inner thigh muscle along with helping with your strap and pull your leg up. Switch your left hand to your strap, open your right hand out, and then we'll hold this IT band stretch. So you shouldn't be bringing your foot all the way over to touch the floor. If you're doing that, that probably means that your hip is lifting off the mat and you're doing a twist. So I want you to keep this right hip down on the floor and we're just bringing the leg across. Now take your foot and turn it in like you're being, what would it be, pigeon-toed? Turn your foot in and you'll notice that little extra stretch right down the outside of your shin. And that's where we did a lot of work when we did standing balance. So all of this outside line of your leg should be stretching from the outside of your hip, the tensor fasciae lata muscle, down your IT band, down the peroneus longus muscle, maybe even into the top of the arch of your foot and your ankle. Let's take one more breath here. If you're later on YouTube, you want to pause the video and stay here longer, great. Those yin poses we hold at least a minimum of 2.5 minutes. All right, let's come back to center. Bend your knee to release your yoga strap. And then bring the bottom of your right foot to your left inner thigh and let your knee open into reclining tree pose. And just relax here for a couple of breaths. Try to let everything soften. If reclining tree pose doesn't feel okay for your lower back, you can either put your foot down on the floor and keep your knees straight up, or you can straighten out both legs. Now this is our nice counter stretch for our piriformis stretch and our IT band stretch. Now, as we notice, this leg is open, rotated open this way. So we are going to pick this leg up on the same angle towards us. So your knee is out to the side, your ankle is across. And if you can reach your leg and pull it in toward you, you can do a cradle the baby. If it doesn't feel comfortable to reach your leg, let your bottom leg come up into figure 4 stretch and allow your bottom leg to push your top leg toward your chest. Nice piriformis stretch. Now there's a lot of things we can do here. So if it feels nice for you to get an extra hamstring stretch, you can straighten your bottom leg up. You can do a little cradle the baby where you're bringing very slow movement into this as we rock the knee across and to the side. And you're just trying to find a spot that feels really good to stretch in your right hip. Let's stay here 3 more breaths. And then we lower down, both knees bent. Just pause for a moment and check in. And just make sure you're not pushing beyond your boundaries. I'm going to make sure that you're not feeling any pain anywhere or that you've gone beyond the edge of your flexibility. So when you're ready, let's start moving into the left side. We're using our strap under the bottom of the foot, the ball of the foot, which will help us lengthen that leg up as straight as you can get it. That's important here. So even if your leg is low, I want you to try to get it straight. And then the bottom leg, if you'd like, can extend depending on if you want your pelvis in a posterior tilt or an anterior tilt. And then we'll slowly move this left leg to the left side just a little bit, and then across to the right side a little bit. Holy moly, this is a different story that my body's telling me on this side. And your pelvis is really secure, so keep your abs engaged so that your pelvis isn't rocking from side to side. This movement of the leg is called transverse abduction and adduction. It's moving along the transverse plane. That plane cuts our body in upper and lower halves, sometimes also called the horizontal plane. Now start to activate this inner thigh. So when the leg comes out and you pull it up, use the inside of your leg and pull that across. That'll help you maybe go a little farther. And it should help your IT band complex relax. And the IT band doesn't relax itself. It's a piece of connective tissue. But the muscle it's attached to, which is called the tensor fascia lata, that's the one we want to stretch a little bit here. Also our medial glute. All right, let's open it out to the left side and hold with a nice stretch. Your right arm might need to open to counterbalance. My wall's in the way a little bit, but I'm still getting a good stretch here. One more breath. Then activate that inner thigh as you pull it up. As you come across, switch your hands and hold here without twisting your spine or letting your left hip lift off the mat. And it's amazing how much tighter this one is for me. Can you turn your foot in? Oh, big time. So this can be a very intense stretch. So take it to the edge that feels comfortable for you and keep breathing. Just 3 more breaths or pausing the video later. And slowly bring it up to the center. Bend the knee to release the strap. Bring the bottom of your left foot down to the floor. Let your knee open out into a reclining tree pose. And just relax here. Eyes can be closed. We bring our awareness to our breathing. Just allowing any anxiety and tension to dissipate from not only our physical body, but our emotional body as well. And then when you're ready, we slowly move into either cradle the baby or our figure 4 stretch. So this left knee stays open to the side as we lift our leg up. We can grab and pull in. And we can let that bottom leg come up and give it a little push. We can use our hands here also to help us pull in. Just coming into the figure 4 stretch or reclining pigeon. That feels best for your body. Bottom leg can extend for more hamstring flexibility work. You can rock a little bit from side to side to cradle the baby action. And you'll notice that stretch just changes a little bit as we bring the knee across the midline. And stay here about another 30 seconds, wherever you are today. Two more slow breaths. And we slowly lower down, uncrossing that left ankle. Check in for just a moment, and then you can take 2 options here. Either walk your feet wider and let your knees drop in toward each other, or take your feet together and let both knees open into Supta Baddha Konasana. And your body will let you know which one's best for you today, which one you need the most and will serve you the best. And let's come into a breath rhythm. So we'll inhale for 3 counts, hold for 2 counts, and exhale for 5 counts. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just continue that breath flow on your own. Two more rounds of the breath. And one more round, inhaling 3, holding 2, exhaling 5. Once you've completed that final exhalation, prepare to come back to a seated position, closing the knees together. You can take your time to roll over onto your side or hug your knees in toward you like a ball and begin to rock forward and back. And once you arrive to the seated position, just tip your right ear toward your right shoulder to lengthen the neck. And left ear to left shoulder.